Do you wish you knew exactly how to write a sales post to attract soulmate clients using the most powerful gifts from your astrology chart? Well, guess what? Now you can learn how for free. I'm going to share my cosmic copywriting secrets that have helped people to instantly turn strangers on the internet into buyers for their high-ticket offers. In my 5-part training series, Cosmic Attraction Copywriting, you'll learn the mindset switch that takes my clients from feeling confused about their content or not feeling fully safe to share their story online to making sales more easily and naturally than ever before, with the astrological placement that unlocks a new level of depth in your storytelling that builds trust 10 times faster with the clients who are genuinely a very aligned fit to work with you. Plus, the messaging tweaks that take my clients from attracting people who can't afford it to easy sales into 5-figure offers with no sales calls. And you'll get clarity on the 3 things your soulmate clients need to hear from you consistently in your message to feel confident and excited to buy your offer. You'll also get my writing process prompts to share your story in a powerful way that stands out to the right people and leads to ready-to-buy clients popping up into your DMs asking to work with you. Click the link in the description for instant access to Cosmic Attraction Copywriting. This is Sarah Mack and welcome to Creative Magic Club. Together, we'll discover inspirational stories of creative entrepreneurs living out their dreams, doing the work they are most passionate about, and building wealth in magical and fun ways. While building a 6-figure income as a writer and coach, helping other women to launch their dream businesses, I've connected with so many incredible people and seen it proven again and again that you can thrive financially doing whatever it is you are passionate about. I'm here to share life-changing strategies for mindset, making money, and reaching more people with your work in a business and life filled with creativity, freedom, and fun. Hi, welcome back to Creative Magic Club. I'm Sarah Mack. I'm here to help you become a 6-figure creative by filling your high-ticket offer through authentic storytelling and astrology-guided content strategy. So I've created a special 3-part series for you around astrology and marketing. And we're going to dive in to kick this off today, talking about overgiving. Anyone familiar with doing that? Raise your hand. This is a pattern that is really the main problem that my work seeks to solve. And obviously, I focus very heavily on the financial part of this conversation. But recently, in diving into my chart, I've discovered some of the other elements of my own patterns that, led me to do this quite badly. And in the shifting of these patterns has led me to create the results that, is the work that I now help clients with today. So I want to share with you 3 signs in your chart and look at which house they fall under, so that you can get some of those deeper insights around where you might be overgiving. And maybe you've done a lot of work around this and you're like, I'm so much better at this. That's kind of the conversation that I was in. And then when I came upon these patterns and also how prevalent and repetitive they are, it just reminded me that there's always another level, and to look at where can I do that deeper work? Where can I look at the shadows that I might still be embodying, even in small degrees, because, especially when it comes to money, it's pretty freaking obvious how far we have to go, right? Like, I live in America, there's literally no limit to how much money you can make and spend here, as is true of many other places in the world. But enough is a very subjective term. So we can be comfortable, we can be wealthy, but there's always going to be another level of freedom and creative fulfillment. And no matter how many patterns of scarcity we've, picked through and shifted and risen above, and created tools and just different ways to respond to them so we no longer give our power away to them as we are stepping more and more into our next levels of work. That's the thing about a pattern, right? It always comes back. So it's always so powerful to revisit this question of where might I still be overgiving too much? And you might be doing this in your business, you might be doing this in your client relationships, you might be doing this in your family relationships, with your health and your body. You might be doing this financially with the investments that you're making. And, there's no clear-cut right or wrong around these things, particularly when it comes to business. So let's dive in and talk about it so you can reflect on some places where you can just, make some tweaks and tighten up some of these patterns to open up space to receive more wealth, more freedom, more creative self-expression, more impact from a place of overflow rather than overgiving. So something that's super cool that I've been seeing more and more in using our astrology chart to understand the patterns that play out in our business and money is seeing this in my clients, in the work I've been doing in the Cosmic Copy Mastermind. It's so freaking cool how our astrology chart will actually give us the same patterns and the same conversations in multiple ways through our different placements and our different houses. And when we see the same pattern come up again and again and again, we know like these are some of our major life themes that we are really here to master and to overcome. And obviously, many of our challenges are actually the things that produce some of our most powerful and most valuable skill sets. And in our next episode, we're going to be talking about Saturn, who is that teacher, right? Who often brings the hardest lessons. And I just gave a masterclass on Saturn and SEO in the Cosmic Copy Mastermind this week, which was super freaking cool. And I live on close to my Saturn line here. So I'm all about the Saturn lessons right now. So what that means is when we roll up our sleeves, when we put our butts in the chair, when we really take in what can sometimes be the hard to digest lessons that we're like, oh, I don't want to get up at 6 a.m. and go to the gym, or oh, I don't want to, practice this technique for the 100th time. But actually, it's those things that we resist that become the gateway to the most joy, to the most freedom, to the most abundance. So if this is a conversation that you are all about and you want to understand how to thrive in business through the lens of your astrology chart, the Cosmic Copy Mastermind is open, which is very exciting. Until the end of the month, you have the opportunity to come and join us. It's such a special and exciting space, unlike no other, where we have 2 monthly deep dive workshops to understand your astrology chart, to clearly translate your unique magic and gifts into powerful sales copy, to attract the dreamiest clients into your high ticket offer. Plus, inside of Voxer, we have weekly coaching where I really take the time to get to know you and your business to help you navigate through your next steps and really prioritize the simple content pieces that are going to get you paid so you can clear out the other busy work that actually isn't necessary in business and just go and freaking enjoy your life and relax and rest and do whatever you want to do outside of your business, which is why we got into this in the first place, right? Is to give us that freedom. So if you know you're ready to get the support that you deserve, I can guarantee you that when you show up and implement, you will not only make your investment back quickly, but you're going to set yourself up for making more and reaching your 6-figure brand goals this year and for years to come. So if you're tired of questioning your messaging and what has been working, what hasn't been working, and wondering where the heck your soulmate clients are who are ready to invest in your work, go click on the link below and jump in and join us to get the support that will get you there. So are you overgiving in your business, in your content, in your life, in your relationships? Is this a question that you have asked yourself recently? Let's talk about some of the signs of overgiving. One of them is that you're not making any sales. This is number one. And if this is the case for you, all that tells us is that you're not prioritizing the right things, or that making sales isn't actually your priority right now. But if it is your priority and it's not happening, it's not because there's something wrong with you. It's not because your business is broken. We simply get to reshift your priorities. Maybe you're just not pitching enough or well enough or consistently enough. Another sign that you're overgiving is that you're just working a ton, and you feel like that output isn't really being reciprocated. So obviously, if you're in the earlier stages of an idea or your business, this also might just be a question of timing. But I think we know that, right? Like, it's a question of if our work isn't matching our expectations. And we can sometimes be focused or prioritizing the wrong things for the stage of business that we're in. So often we're looking at people who are many, many stages ahead of us, and we're trying to copy their strategy, thinking it's going to work for us, instead of really keeping a simple focus on what's accessible and available and easy for the current capacity and phase and stage and skill level that you are currently in. Another sign that you might be overgiving is if you feel resentment, whether that's to people in your audience or maybe to your clients. This could be a sign of, having poor boundaries, or maybe even working with the wrong kinds of clients who aren't actually compatible for your highest level of work. That would really be the most creatively fulfilling way of working for you. So obviously I could tell you, my strategic content guidelines for your free content or conversion events like masterclasses, live streams, podcasts, launch events, blah, blah, blah. And that's obviously what I do inside my mastermind and my work with private clients. But what I want to invite you into today is really to go deeper, to actually use your astrology chart to unearth the root cause of where you may be overgiving or have some energy leaks that are actually sabotaging your cash flow. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about where this sign is impacting you through the houses. But first, I'm going to tell you which 3 signs I want you to look for in your chart. So the first one is Libra. And what you want to do is look, around the edge of your chart and see where Libra falls and see what the house number it is ruling in your chart, because that is the area where you may be falling into some of the shadow aspects of Libra. So that is people pleasing. That is putting everybody else first. And when we want to be in a place of balance, which is really the light side of Libra, this is the balanced expression of Libra is balance, is everything having its place. And that doesn't mean everything has, an exactly equally distributed amount of your time and energy, but it's really about harmony. So you're able to flow. And maybe that means right now the flow in your life, like family is really priority or health is really priority, but you're able to flow with your money and business and to allow that balance to shift to support these different phases. And Libra rules my second house, which is, money, self-worth, values. And this is a lesson that my business has really taught me, being an entrepreneur and seeing that everything gets to have its place and everything has different seasons. And there are some seasons where, I have full energy, I have lots of time, I have full focus, I have stability, I can go all in on my work and business. And there have been so many times in my business, like the majority of the time when I started my business, when I was in the middle of a really bad burnout, when I've been through health stuff, when I've been through personal relationship stuff, where my business has had to support me as my personal life has taken up a much larger slice of the harmony pie, right? So through all of this, knowing that money is self-care. So taking care of our business, taking care of our cash flow, like that is a health goal, right? Because when we don't have that, the amount of stress that is put on our body and on our emotions and on our families is unhealthy. So, obviously after our health, after our bodies, and after our families, our business goals have to come first. And guess what? Your business goals come from your life, right? And this is actually such an important conversation, because if your business goals are coming from what you've seen other people do on the internet and you think you want, which there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But if it's not matched to a true desire and an authentic vision of your life based on your values, based on who you are and where you are, right? Then sometimes we're kind of like chasing a mirage, or we're chasing something that isn't actually quite meant for us right now in this phase. So paying attention to your strategy, to your priorities, and really getting other people out of your head when you are creating, and really create for you, for your pleasure, for your unique strategy, for your specific goals. And yes, like your business and your work, it's always going to be in service. That's never a question for the people in this community. And, you know, some of my lessons, my Libra lessons, with it being in my second house, have really been to value myself as my most valuable asset, to invest in myself, to listen to myself, and to trust that my desires and my needs and my wants are actually guiding me towards what is best for me. And Libra also rules aesthetic beauty. And I think as creatives, we have to give ourselves permission to go for what really lights us up and what really inspires us. And yeah, the shadow side of that for Libra can be this kind of like superficial, surface level looking nice. But I really had to acknowledge my desires for the ways I wanted my life to be more beautiful, and not just on a surface level, because my business strategy really came out of that conversation. I call it your dream life to-do list. Like if you had $1 billion in the bank already and you didn't have to do anything for money, what would you do with your day? You know, what would be the things that you wouldn't want to see on your calendar? And what that question usually brings up is, oh yeah, like I really do have these genuine desires for the work that I want to do in the world and the impact that I want to make. And if I could do it in any way, then these are the ways that I would make space for beauty and pleasure and really living my life to the full with my relationships, with my health, you know, as a member of this community, as somebody who not only gives and provides and serves, but also somebody who receives. So I always used to have like the shadow side of how that would play out for me. And it still occasionally creeps up, would be, yeah, like I really struggle to prioritize the things that were just for me. And I would even see, you know, like my business and my work in that way, even though that was still being of service, which is a real red flag for overgiving. But in the earlier phases, you know, I was a digital nomad. I was traveling all over the place, and I would have thoughts like, oh, well, if I book in a client call when my partner has a day off or when I'm visiting family, will it get in the way of what they want to do? Oh, I don't want to commit to that. And, you know, and it took me a while to be like, oh no, like my business is only going to succeed and thrive when I put some real boundaries around it and make it a priority and allow everyone else in my life to make space for that. You know, that was the transition of going out to work where there's a very hard boundary of like, I'm at work, you can't bother me, to being someone who's just always around the house. And, you know, other people, when they were also in the house with me, would just treat me like I was there when I wasn't working and, you know, ask me questions and ask me for help with things and invite me to things. And so that was a new set of boundaries that I had to learn to navigate. So it's things like that. And money is going to flow into very clear boundaries. And it's only going to continue to flow and to be sustainable when there is balance. And Libra represents justice. And justice, you know, it's like, what's right? Where are you in right relationship to the work that you're putting out, to the money and the support that you are receiving, and to the contribution and the you know, the respect and the support of all of the ecosystems that you operate within, personally, professionally, everywhere. So you're going to have a look and see which house Libra rules and just journal on what themes kind of come up for you around these topics. How have you expressed these shadow sides? How has that played out in your business and your money? Even if that originated in, you know, private, personal relationships. You have a burning desire to help more people with your work and charge prices that will support your dream life. But right now, you're overthinking your prices, overcomplicating your launches, or wondering if your message is even landing with your people. You dream of reaching a place in your business where you know how to sign those perfect fit soulmate clients into your high ticket offer every month with ease. But right now, creating sales content feels like a constant drain, and you're not sure how to write in a way that attracts the right people for your offer. In Sell Your Magic Like Magic, my private mentorship, you'll fill your high ticket offers on repeat by using your astrology chart to share the parts of your story that make you the obvious choice for your soulmate clients. We'll design a custom, clear launch plan that's fun and easy to follow through with. We'll create the content pieces necessary to bring in 5 to 6 figures in sales over the coming weeks. And we'll make sure you know exactly what to prioritize and what to ditch from your calendar so you're spending way less time online and enjoying your life and business more. You can sign clients into your high ticket offers with a repeatable strategy that's sustainable and fun through every season of life. Apply using the link below. So the next sign I'm going to invite you to look at is Cancer. Because the shadow side of Cancer is being so caring that you're sacrificing your own needs. And this is obviously a very common pattern amongst entrepreneurs, whether it's caring or whether it's addiction to the work or just, getting validation and meaning in our identities, in being seen and appreciated by other people, whether that's through our work or whether that's through, the people that we care for in our personal lives. Also, in the way that we have been raised in systems of hierarchy and internalized identities that we have around our value and, who are we to ask for XYZ? Wanting to avoid conflict and just saying yes, and kind of like bending over and overgiving to keep the peace, because setting the boundary would be challenging, would feel like it's not caring. And that's, just how women have been conditioned in our culture, is that our value is in caring for others. Another shadow side of Cancer is caring too much, trying to help everyone all at once. And I feel like this is the shadow side of the delusion of the person who wants to save the world, right? Which I feel like most of us visionaries are. And that's kind of how we started out, is, feeling inspired to create positive change in the world. That's why we started our businesses. But this is an unhelpful delusion to think that we have the capacity to help everyone all at once, because we don't. And this is not a strategically smart mission, and it's not even possible. So, the lesson of Cancer is really like the deep, deep shadow side is burnout. And the lesson of burnout, as a recoverer, I have learned this lesson well, is that when you are not functioning, nothing else does. When you don't have your health, you pretty much don't have anything in this world. You can't contribute to anybody else. You're probably not making great money. Or even if you are, it's highly unsustainable and is going to have an end date on it. So health has to come number one. And, self-care, not only for our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual selves, but also our financial selves. So strategically prioritizing the things that create financial stability and support in our work and business. And obviously there's always going to be a learning curve, right? And we're going to go through pivots. So really being clear on what those priorities are and what works for you. And sometimes we get to that insight by just simply getting clear on what is not working. So have a look at where Cancer falls in your chart. For me, it's the 10th and the 11th house, and see what comes up for you. So 10th and 11th house is business and community. And that's definitely, and I think this is a really hard one to navigate as an entrepreneur, particularly as a content creator, because we get so much joy from creative self-expression. We want to create because we want to get our message out there in the world. And, I was obviously doing that before I had learned to monetize it. But it was needing to build the skills of brand building, and understanding what are those strategic pieces that allow me to consistently get paid, that allow me to continue to create whatever I want and get my message out there and positively impact people and build community. So the next sign I want you to check out is Virgo, because the shadow side of Virgo is that perfectionistic, having really, really high expectations, never quite feeling good enough, and sometimes over planning and spending so much energy in trying to control things instead of really channeling that energy towards the actions that are going to produce the results that you're planning. So when it's in balance, it's all about having a grounded structure that's healthy, that produces wellness through all seasons of life, that's flexible, that's not super, super rigid, and not being too caught up in the minutiae to see the big picture, to be able to pivot or to open up to new ideas. And I'm a Virgo rising, so I used to spend so much time planning and never really seeing anything through to fruition. And I had to build systems, systems of self-trust, and to really build the skills to go with the flow, to trust myself, and to know that I really had to train myself to know that half-assing it is fine. When you have these perfectionistic tendencies, operating at your 50% is good enough. And it's just a deconditioning, right? It's a deconditioning of that good girl needing to be perfect all the time that we have picked up, and really operating from the mindset of being enough and the mindset of enoughness. Whatever I can get done today is enough. Whatever I'm able to put out today is enough. And getting it to that point of completion and publication, hitting send, getting it out of the planning phase, and recognizing that can happen so much more quickly and powerfully when we learn to operate in that way. And this massively shifted my money, my time freedom, and my health. And so much of this comes down to mindset, especially with this Virgo placement. So see where these 3 signs fall in your chart. And obviously, if it's the first house, you can look to themes of your identity and your body. If it's your second house, you can look to your values, self-worth, money, and sales. Third house, communication, mindset, your immediate community. Fourth house, home, family, ancestral patterns. Fifth house, creativity, romance, children. Sixth house, day-to-day work habits, your routines, and your health habits. Your seventh house is one-to-one relationships, your partner, clients, support people. It's also your first child. Eighth house, other people's money, transformation, death, rebirth, shadow work. Ninth house, higher education, belief systems, philosophy, long-distance travel, adventure. 10th house is your public image, your career and legacy. 11th house is your wider community, friends, social media, and connective technology. And 12th house is your subconscious, your spiritual life, mysticism, and creativity. So I can't wait to see what insights and breakthroughs come up for you around these aspects of your chart. So I hope you've loved this episode. Let me know your takeaways. And please, please, please do me the kindness, do me a 5-minute favor and go over to iTunes and leave me a 5-star review on the Creative Magic Club page. And I will love you forever. And make sure you tune in next week where we're going to talk about Saturn and structure and strategy that really supports our creativity and sustains cash flow. And I'm going to talk about my roller coaster of a relationship with SEO, search engine optimization, and why now more than ever it's a really important conversation to have with yourself about if you're going to use this or not in your business. So I'm sending you so much love. I will see you next week. Bye. For more inspirational content, head over to my website withsarahmac.com and please support the show by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Are you a healer, witch, creative, or magical entrepreneur who's ready to fill your high-ticket one-on-one or group coaching program, and you want a sales page that will do the selling for you? Maybe you're tired of having a calendar full of sales calls and you want a sales page that can clearly articulate your offer and guide interested clients to feel ready to buy without needing to talk to you first. Maybe you already have a sales page and people are clicking on it but not reaching out, and you want to feel clear on what to say and what not to say to turn interested people into actual buyers. Having sales pages for my offers has led to filling a high-ticket group coaching program with 10 clients at $1,000 each while traveling on vacation for 2 weeks and launching using repurposed content. Having 5-figure months from sales into my $5,000 evergreen mastermind with no live launching beyond daily social media content. Signing clients into my $17,000 private mentorship program with no sales calls. When you book my Cosmic Sales Intensive, you'll walk away with a full, clear, compelling sales page for your high-ticket offer that will attract ready-to-buy clients and that you can continue to make sales with for years to come. Clients who have been through this offer have created a sales page that went on to sell out a high-ticket relationship coaching mastermind, had 20 applications within 48 hours of publishing, sold several $15,000 private mentorship packages, and even had a 6-figure launch with the sales page and content strategy we created within just a few weeks. Stop losing people with fluffy language that sounds the same as so many others in your industry, and clearly articulate why your work is worth $5,000 to $10,000 plus, even when you sell things like astrology, human design, breathwork, mindset coaching, or energy work. Book your Cosmic Sales Intensive now at withsarahmac.com or via the link in my description.